Dear Father in heaven, thank you for this opportunity to learn new things and for giving us a good day today. You have blessed us and protected us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Well, this is a very easy, simple class, and it's about diabetes. And I'm picking this class out of order, I think, because I had it later on the week, but it's better because I can give other classes that are more important than this one. Well, this is an important class. This diabetes is one of the things, motivators that brought me here. I was working with a group of doctors, and they were trying to impact the communities, the number 1 and number 2 communities of the whole nation that are in diabetes. Diabetes, the position of number 1 has it the Puerto Rican community in Chicago, and number 2 is the Mexican community in Chicago. That's the top 2 diabetes community in the nation. So it was a great field to start teaching people, and that's where I came in. I came in as a spectator, just to see and help and give a helping hand, and I ended up running the exercise part of the program. And then from there, one of the doctors mentioned this place as a place that, for study, to study about health, more about health, and I decided to inquire, and that's how I ended up here. So diabetes, it's a big thing, and it impacts my life into bringing, giving me attention to come here, but it also impacts everybody's life. There's one person that that might have diabetes or is experiencing diabetes, or so it's a good subject to know. Now, diabetes, there's many types of diabetes. There is type 1, and I have seen good results in type 1 if the person is diagnosed and it comes here before the 100 days of being diagnosed. So if a child is called child onset diabetes, if that diabetes is diagnosed at a time that is between the 100 days where he was diagnosed or she was diagnosed, and come here, we're able to successfully give them their life back. But if not, it's a little more difficult proposition. Type 1 diabetes it's caused by most likely the protein of milk, casein. The protein of milk creates antibodies. The body creates these antibodies that try to attack the protein of the milk. So basically, this protein goes into the blood, not being completely digested. And since it's not digested completely, the blood doesn't know, the agents, your immune system doesn't know what it is. It's a protein. So what's a protein? It could be a virus, could be a bacteria, who knows? So it goes and attacks that, creates antibodies for it. Antibodies are chemicals and things to go and attack that protein. Well, it happens that the same structure of the milk protein, it is the same structure of the beta cells of the pancreas, which produce insulin. So the person with type 1 diabetes cannot produce any insulin, okay, after a period of time. And those are typically children, right? Typically, not all the time.
Just for example, myself, for I don't know how many years, I do not use insulin. Then I have to use the insulin to try to control it. Is type 1, type 2, or like you say, I think at one point you say 1.5.
So how do you know which diabetes you have is your question. Well, you've been diagnosed with diabetes. Your doctors will know because they do a blood test, and in that blood test they see the antibodies in your blood. Once they see the antibodies, which are the agents to attack your pancreas, or the casein in this case, they'll know that you have type 1 diabetes. So for example, I have a girl that was here like 3 years ago with type 1 diabetes. Wow, 3 years already. And her A1C, it's under 5 or close to 5 or less. The doctor said to the mother recently, stop testing her. Don't test her anymore. She's fine. Now, she has the antibodies in her. They check and they see the antibodies in her blood. But she's fine. And this is 3 years. And she says, so can you explain how is it possible that she's not diabetic even though she's supposedly still type 1 diabetes? And she says, the doctor says, well, only thing we can know is that her pancreas is in a honeymoon. So it's still producing insulin. Now, she's eating a normal diet. I mean, corrected diet. But she's in the corrected diet, fine, and she eats her cereals. She eats, I mean, like we do here. She eats her tortillas made out of kamut or spelt. She, does what any child would like to do as much as she can. And she has a normal life. She's in I think it's in a swim team, which a type 1 diabetic could not be in a swim team. She's having a normal life. So now there's other types of diabetes. Like I've seen, the most difficult ones that I've seen are like brittle diabetes. Now brittle diabetes is a diabetes that you have no idea what's going to happen. Sometimes the sugar goes up or it goes down, or who knows. Those are very difficult. And then there's type 2 diabetes, that it's an adult type of diabetes, which is based on our lifestyle. And that is the majority of diabetes. And it is a plague in many countries, Mexico being one of them. It is destroying Mexico leaps and bounds. So if you have somebody that it's Mexican that you know, most likely the probability that it's diabetic, or someone is diabetic, are very high. And it's because of the soda that they drink. They drink a lot of soda. Lots of soda. So it's a plague over there. And here in the United States too. It's a big, big problem. Yeah. Now, I'm just going to explain how it works and how you can, reverse it. And you could get to a point where you're in control in 2 weeks, around 2 weeks, depending on how long you've been a diabetic. Okay? So it's very simple once you know what are the causes. You have to understand they're lifestyle related. Type 2 diabetes, it's a lifestyle-related disease, so like most chronic diseases are. So, the body, when you eat, what is the purpose of eating? Why do you eat?
Satisfy your body.
For fuel, exactly. For fuel. You're eating because you need fuel. And that is very important to understand. So when you eat and you get fuel, the digestive system what the purpose of the digestive system is break down what you eat and convert it into fuel. That's all the purpose it has. Once it gets to the blood is like a courier, like Federal Express or UPS or the Postal Service. It goes. He takes turns and says, oh, I'm going to make a delivery. Delivers here, deliver the nutrients where they need to be. Okay? So that's the purpose of the blood. Now, let's assume that this hole here, this big hole here, is your mouth. Okay? It's the mouth of someone. And food is going to come here. Once it comes here, the digestive system breaks it down through enzymes, somatic processes, and then it delivers it to where it needs to go. That's all it's doing. That's the function of it. So, you want to ask something?
No.
Okay. So then, you have something called insulin. Now, insulin's purpose, it is released to, well, one of the major purpose, not the only one. But it is released for the purpose of delivering that glucose molecule or that fuel into the cell. So it just picks up the glucose molecule, the sugar, the fuel, and goes in and knocks at the cell. Knock, knock. Who's there? Well, it's insulin. Okay, bring me the energy that I need to do the things that I need to. Now, you need energy to use for every cell in your body. So you have eyes that the purpose is what?
See?
To see. They take a ray of light and decipher it into your brain so that you could receive that light and see the colors and see abstract information from that light wavelength, and then your brain deciphers what it needs to be or what it is, right? So the purpose of eyes is to receive light. Now, in order to absorb this light and do the things they do, they need fuel. Also, your muscles have a purpose. What's the muscle purpose? What are they for?
Move the bones.
Yeah, move the bones, movement. The muscles are there for movement. That's why you need to move as much as you can, because you have a lot of muscles. So muscles are there for movement, but they need what to move?
Energy.
Energy, fuel. You have cells in your stomach. What are the purpose of these cells? Huh? Yes.
Make the muscles move, make the nerves move, make everything work.
Yeah, make everything work, create digestive juices, do all these things. Now, this is a normal functioning of a person. All these movement and the cells are important or are involved in these functions that your body do. So you need fuel for them, and it comes from when we eat. Now, the interesting thing is that if you eat whole plant-based food, that it doesn't come from a plant, and I'm talking a mechanical plant, it comes from nature. Anything that comes from nature like this, when the body gets this fuel, this has a lot of fuel, by the way. This is a big banana or plantains. When you eat this type of food, the energy that is used for the normal functioning of the body. The processes of walking, of breathing, of seeing, of hearing, of moving, that energy is used for that. Only for that. Okay? That is very important. That's the key for reverting diabetes. As long as you know where the energy goes to. Now, if you eat anything from this kingdom, from the animal kingdom, for example, like my friend here, if you eat anything from this kingdom, anything, product, it could be an egg, it could be a milk, it could be himself, he's not eating me anymore. If you eat anything like this, the energy that comes from this, if you don't exercise, is going to be stored into fat. Now, the key for diabetic is the following. Everyone that is here has a genetic predisposition for storage of fat. I'm going to say it again. Everyone that is here has a genetic predisposition to store fat. What does that mean? Okay, let me just hold on a second. And I have one here that weighs 170. Who has the biggest probability of getting diabetes? The 320 or the 170?
320.
Both the same.
Well, typically it's a 170.
Why?
Here's why. Let's assume that this down here, it is your genetic predisposition to absorb fat. Okay? Repeat it. This is the person's genetic predisposition to store fat, not absorb, store fat. Okay? Now, when that person reaches that level, it goes to a point where the person cannot, it doesn't get any more heavier. It just plateaus. And they continue their lifestyle and they plateau. At that point in time, they have reached the maximum storage that their genetic predisposition had prescribed for them. Okay? Now, there's this person that their genetic predisposition is all this, everything under the chair. Now, they can gain weight, gain weight, gain weight, gain weight, and continue to gain weight, and continue to gain weight, and continue to gain weight. And they're not diabetic, obviously. They just have a big amount of storage that their genetic predisposition have provided for them. Now, if this person eats of this kingdom, anything from this kingdom, and do not use it because it doesn't exercise, then the body will store it as fat, and it will put it right here, down here. If it eats something from this kingdom, but it's whole plant-based, came from the ground to the table, and the person don't exercise, it will use it for the normal functionings of the body. To see, to move, to breathe, all of it. Okay? There's a big difference. Okay? Big difference. So, let's give you an example. I am going to start my day. And I decide to start my day and have a busy schedule. Obviously, it's not like I'm going to be able to do something with this today because I have to run out. Okay? And I decide to take some cereal. And the good thing that this cereal has is that it says it is fruit-based. Fruit-based. See? Fruit Loops. So I say, well, at least it has fruit in it. So let me have some of it. Okay? I go, take some of it, put it on my plate. And what's going to happen if I don't exercise? It's going to be stored in this reserve. Okay? That's where it's going to go. Now, if I eat of this kingdom in just one little piece, okay? One little piece. And you know what? I don't have time for exercise today. Tomorrow I'll exercise. I'll do double tomorrow than what I did today. So I don't have time to exercise. What's going to happen with the fuel available for this? Where is it going to go?
Under.
It's going to be stored into the fat storage. Okay? Now next day, I decide to eat of this. And again, I said I was going to do double exercise, but something came up. I got to go to the school of my child, or I have to do something, or you know what? I got invited to watch a movie and I'm just going to relax today. I'm just too tired from work. And I eat this. So I can't burn the fuel of this. I can't, what is it going to happen to it? Where is it going to go?
To your muscles, your eyes, your brain.
To the normal functionings of the body. It's not going to get stored as fat. Okay? It's not going to get stored as fat.
Why?
Okay?
Why?
Because it's natural.
This
Because well, too many calories are too many calories? I mean, something's got to get stored as fat if you eat too much.
That is very interesting observation, but it is not so.
It's not true.
It is not true.
If you eat 4,000 calories, even if it's all whole plant-based food, none of it's going to go to fat.
Well, some of it is going to store after it stores glycogen, yeah, but it's very little.
Okay.
Very little. It's all going to use for the normal functionings of the body.
Maybe it won't use the glycogen stores, is what you're saying.
No, it will use a glycogen storage. Here's what. I eat a lot. When I eat a lot. And if you've seen Peter eat, he eats 3 times more than me. I mean, a lot of food. I mean, just he served himself. When he was here, he used to serve himself. And it was, boom, one, then, boom, another, and then, boom, another one. It's like, unbelievable. I said, when I first was here, it's like, how much can you eat? And he says, just eat till you're satisfied. I go, really?
Yeah, he was hungry, huh?
I don't know. So anyways, we eat a lot, and we just go down on fat and go down and go down and go down and go down. I mean, the pants always are a problem. I don't lose weight as much as I lose, this part here, which is interesting. I cannot explain it, other than that's how it works.
Okay.
And on top of that, people with diabetes that just go on a plant-based diet, they eat what they want to eat as far as plant-based diet, it goes away. So, yeah.
I was just curious, when you were eating the Fruit Loops and the chicken wing, what was your body, what kind of fuel was your body running on to see, to hear, to move? If you weren't eating any plants, what was your body?
It uses some of it too, also, from it. But it's not used only for that. The extra, which is empty calories. You see, the problem is that, now I get more of your question. The problem is that we have made the calories the part of the equation, and calorie is not a good measurement of what's going on. Okay?
Because carbohydrates are 4 kilocalories
Yes.
as opposed to meat, which is 9
Yes.
or 7.
Yes. If that was if that was true, the more you exercise, the more you will lose weight, right? But that's not true. I have a video here called Fed Up. It's really good. It talks about that.
So if I got on that elliptical machine and when I got off it said, oh, you burned 200 calories. Well, what if I was on a fast that day and I didn't even eat 200 calories? What would it be?
We'll talk about that now.
Okay.
Okay. So now, yes.
I have a question. Like, when you have diabetes and then you come to the program and you got to watch certain fruits, stuff that you eat. When later on, if the diabetes goes, are you going to be able to eat those kind of fruits?
No problem. Yeah, that'll be good. So next day I come, and I'm with my friends, and they gave me a Fruity King mini soda. And we drink the Fruity King mini soda. But that day, you know what? I go on a run. And I run and run and run and run and run. And we run for 3 miles. What's going to happen to the energy here?
Burned.
Burned? Well, unfortunately, it won't be burned. It will be converted into fat immediately. Why is that? This is a tricky question.
Because your body thinks you're starving.
No.
It's high fructose corn syrup.
It's high corn fructose syrup.
High fructose.
High fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup. Yeah.
Very good.
Fructose in high content, the liver and the intestinal tract cannot metabolize it, so it will convert it into fat. It's just like drinking alcohol. When you drink alcohol, wine or beer or whatever, the liver cannot metabolize that, so it will convert it into fat immediately, just like fructose. So the two are the same way. They're metabolized almost similar, Pat. So this will create fat immediately, just because, you know, it cannot be metabolized. It just cannot be. So here we go. We add to the equation. So then,
Which is all those sodas with the high fructose corn syrup.
all sodas have high corn fructose syrup. If they don't have high fructose corn syrup because they're diet and they hide it, diet is they use a sweetener that is a synthetic sweetener, which is typically an amino acid. So then aspartame. So then it's an even worse problem, or very as bad. If you want to just watch Peter's video, I think it's video number 3 or 4. Talks very interesting about gum, those who chew gum, and that type of aspartame. It's very phenylalanine and those, how destructive they are for your health. Explains it very well. So now you get, you know, some of these. Your child was getting some, so just they're baked, okay? Give them a break. They're baked. So what if I don't exercise after I use them? So here I have a case that what happens to my storage? It's almost what? It's almost full. I'm making smart choices now. You see? I'm still busy. But now I'm eating what? Fruit snacks. See? Not everything that is in a shelf is food. Please. Not everything that is in a shelf is food. It's not like people are trying to feed you. Okay? These companies are not trying to. Welch is not in the business of feeding you. Okay? Because there's really not any. There is nothing that is natural here. Okay? There's things here that are illegal in Europe. Okay? Illegal. You cannot even put them in a box in Europe. So at this moment, you could see that my storage is full. This person already gained some weight and got to a point where he plateaued. Next time happens, and you know what? I'm still a fruit junkie, fruit and grain junkie. So I just like, oh man, I love these things, and you know, I eat them. And I'm going to just tell you that the filling says high fructose corn syrup. So there's no context here. But I have this thing. I don't exercise. And even if I exercise, where is it going to go? Oh, it's full. There is no space to put them. Where am I going to place it if there's no space? Whoa, that's a problem. What is it going to do? I cannot store it as fat. Remember, you get to a point where you just plateau. There's no fat gaining. That's what that person that is 320 sometimes can get 350, 360, but that person that gets 170 at 180 plateaus.
Is that fat storage, is that genetically determined?
Yes, exactly. That's genetically determined. So now I just don't have any more space to put it. So what do? Insulin comes. And he just can't store anymore. There's no place to store it. So what does he do?
Go to your blood.
They put it in the liver.
It converts it into sugar, into something else.
Well, let's see.
Comes out the stool.
You are insulin. You stay with it, okay? And then tomorrow, I eat more cereal. I don't exercise. And your insulin, okay? Insulin. Again,
Holding it.
same thing. Next day, don't exercise. And the same thing happens over and over and over. And now what happens?
You're in trouble.
I have all these fuel. I have all these fuel in my blood. So when I go, I am like, oh man, I'm feeling tired. I have no energy today. I'm just starting to feel very tired. And I start going to the bathroom a lot. And I have this headache. And I'm like, oh, what's going on with me? I can't. So you go to the doctor. When you go to the doctor, what is he going to find?
Diabetes.
He's going to find that you have a lot of what?
Sugar.
Sugar in your blood, because it's not going where?
Into the fat.
Where it needs to go. It cannot get stored anymore. So now you have that sugar in your blood, and it's just like, well, you're gonna be diabetic if you don't change something. You have to go and do what? Exercise. But you're not exercising. You have no time for that. You don't have. You see, at this point, insulin also has a job that I'm not gonna go deep into, but I'm just gonna mention it. It has a job of sending two proteins, very important for the brain to produce neurotransmitters for dopamine and serotonin. So insulin determines who goes into the brain. Does sugar goes to the brain, or serotonin or tryptophan goes to the brain? So there is a bus called BCAA, brain chain amino acids, that takes these protein or sugar into the brain. Okay? And the brain has the highest paying jobs. So everybody wants to go to the brain. But insulin, if it has problems like this, it is not able to determine who goes up there. So it gives the priority to sugar, to glucose, and leaves tryptophan behind. So now the person has serotonin levels really low, and then it just starts feeling with anxiety, starts having anxiety problems. Or it doesn't. The other protein is, I think, is leucine, and that is used. The brain uses to produce dopamine, and now the person is not motivated to do anything. So now, how can I do exercise if I'm not motivated to do exercise? It's a problem with insulin, right? So now, what do? I go to the doctor who says, you have to exercise, and I exercise for a couple of days and then just leave it.
Because you don't have the energy.
Not have the energy. So then he says, I'll check you up in a month, see how it's going, because I don't want this to get, into a problem. Well, you continue the same lifestyle because you have no time. You're so busy. You have so many things to take care of except yourself. So you go take care for those things. And you put more insulin. At this time, when you go back to the doctor, what are you? You're diabetic. You're a diabetic patient. You become a diabetic patient. So what does the doctor do?
Medicine helps.
If it's an old school doctor, he would give you something called metformin. Okay? Old school say, because they're starting not to give that because it damages your kidneys, it damages your nerve cells, and they know that, okay? So they don't want to give you that anymore. But if there's an old school, they're just going to give you metformin, okay? What does metformin does? It's the following. You're still eating this thing. This is from people that come here, by the way.
Really?
Most of it. Some of it I bought for other presentations. So metformin, it is like a big hammer. And what it does, it says, you are going to go into the cell, no matter if you want it or not, and just go boom, 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 until it tries to push it into the cell. Obviously, this is going to damage your kidneys, okay? It's going to damage your kidneys, and eventually, so the doctor doesn't want to give you metformin for so long. So when you go to the doctor and you haven't changed your lifestyle, you're not exercising, you're not doing anything, what is he forced to do?
Insulin.
Insulin. And what does insulin is? I need help of like 3 volunteers. Could you step up for a second? Just here. I just want to show you what insulin does. Basically, he brings and says you have to take insulin. And insulin is just a simple thing of now I eat this, I don't have a place to store, I don't have available insulin, so I have called for more hands to grab the fuel. So that's what he's doing. So now he's balancing out a little bit. Is it solving the problem?
No.
No. So what do I have to do to solve the problem?
You stop
You got right food.
Okay, if I start adding this, a potato, oh my goodness, a diabetic eating potato, that's crazy.
You gotta detox.
Crazy. Well, I tell you, you eat this as a diabetic, yeah, it might get your blood up for some, because there's really no place to store anything, and your body is saturated with all this sugar. But what happens is, let's say, for me to solve this problem, what I would do is start exercising, start walking, and eating this. As soon as I start walking, let me take the temptation away. As soon as I start walking, I start burning this fuel. This fuel is going to go where it needs to go. It's going to go to the muscles. Okay? Now, it's going to go to the muscles. And I'm going to go ahead and take all these things, start burning them, putting them in the muscles, which is what the doctor wanted from the beginning.
Where's it going to take from first? From the insulin?
Yes,
And then,
from the blood.
and then it'll take from the storage?
Yes,
Over there.
exactly. So now it starts burning that, and now it can start burning here. Once it starts burning here, because you decided not to eat this, and you decided to eat this, or eat this, which is not going to get stored, okay? This storage is going to go away. You start losing weight, you start getting, to a point where you can manage. Now, I said, depends how long you've been with a diabetic, right? Because there's all these things, all these energy stored all over the place. So it takes some time to get to this spot. Now, let's say I eat this one day, diabetic, I eat this one day, and I exercise. What's going to happen?
Go back to the insulin.
It's going to burn. You see, I'm going to burn it. This is something that came from a
No high fructose corn syrup?
yeah, it does. Another one. Okay, here, there's no high fructose syrup in this guy. I eat this, but then I exercise and do what I need to do. It's going to be burned. The fuel is going to be burned into. So you could see why people that eat some of this, as long as they exercise, they're okay. They don't seem to be, oh yeah, my sister eats this and no diabetes. First, remember the predisposition to gain fat, but she's exercising, so at least it's getting her somewhere that you probably weren't because you weren't exercising. Okay, it's balancing out. But it's still a matter of time when, if you continue eating this type of products, your inflammation in your body goes so high that you're going to have all the different issues. And we'll talk about them later if we have time. Okay?
Just one question, Ramon. Why the doctor say, like, when you're working and you walk a lot, that don't mean nothing, you don't burn nothing?
That doesn't count, yes.
Okay.
For
Why?
exercise, is that the body adjusts very quickly to exercise. For example, I go out of the building as soon as you guys leave. I go somewhere else. And if I don't have time to spend and do the exercises that we do, then I start over in the new program and I start feeling, like I've never done exercises before. Because the body adjusts very quickly. So as you walk a distance every day, the body adjusts to that and it doesn't count as exercise. It's like not normal to you. Now, but if you walk every day and then you add something to it, okay. I'm adding to it, then it just counts as exercise. So, you start feeling it.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, this person continues to exercise. Now, is this person diabetic right now?
Well, you said no.
No, it is not diabetic, right? But what happens if he goes back to the same thing?
Okay.
Immediately will go up, back up. Now, once a person can decides to change his lifestyle, the person then can be declared he has reverse diabetes. He lost weight, he feels good with energy again, his fat storage are gone. This is a person that feels healthy. He feels like he want to conquer the world. I have not conquered, what is the mountain, Kilimanjaro? Yeah.
Everest.
Yeah, Mount Everest. Yeah, there you go. Since I haven't done that in a long time, let me just go ahead and do things that I haven't done before because I have energy, I feel good, and I just want to live. So this is a big difference, and it's very simple to reverse diabetes. How long it takes? I don't know. It could take, depending on how long, from a month to 2 weeks. From a month to 2 weeks. It's what I've seen.
How long, Jose?
I've been a diabetic for over 30 years.
5 days. No, they started under 5 weeks.
Yeah, but between that I was doing what he said. Christmas time, New Year's, all that. I was eating regular food, so I started feeling my insulin again. At the same time, what I was doing is taking less insulin than I was taking before.
More whole foods.
Yeah, but let's say, for example, the 24th and 25th, I eat not proper food, but 26, 27, 28, I eat back to the potatoes and everything else, from the ground. So that helped me. In 1 month, I lost, say, 15 pounds, okay? So it's average of half a pound a day. In 6 days, I lose 8 pounds. Okay, eating the proper food right here. Okay, that gives you the idea, the big difference.
Yes, that's right. So it's possible if you put your heart into it. There's no need for diabetes. I mean, these process of metformin and insulin, this insulin, when you get, the problem with diabetics is that they are typically stubborn.
Yes.
Now, and I say
100%.
I say it boldly, and I know I don't offend anyone. And the reason I say it is because also there's some chemical dysfunctioning on the brain that it's happening at the same time you're going through diabetes. So your brain is getting impacted. So it is really hard if the person doesn't have support to get over this thing. You just don't, okay?
You're diabetic. Why sometimes you can, talk for hours and you never get mad or anything. But just take like one word and boom, you sky high.
Well, that's another class. We'll talk about that.
Okay. So far, I never been diabetic. It's not. Believe me.
So, so they're stubborn, but I don't think it's stubborn because, you know, there's chemical processes happening in the brain that are getting impacted because of the amount of insulin that that they have in their body. Also, the problem with that amount of insulin response is that you lose some sensitivity to it. So, so it's you know, it's just a circular problem if you don't get out of this rut. It just gets there, and it's just hard to get out. And then, you know, you have their social environment, which is very powerful, if it's not the most powerful thing, that doesn't allow you to move forward. So you do have to make your own personal decision and just get rid of it. Because at the end of the day, your social environment goes so far, right? Your social environment, you sustain your social environment, and you want to be in the social environment. Once you get really sick, you know, you only get flowers. And that's it. And that is a very difficult problem because you take care of everyone, but at the end of the day, nobody takes care of you every day. And that's something that, you know, you cannot escape. It's the reality. So you have to take care of yourself. You have to make yourself a priority. No one is going to do it for you. You see, have it happened to you that you're sick, you feel really sick, and people are not expecting you to be sick. So nobody understands what you're going through. Life is like normal for everyone, and you're like, pay a little bit of attention to me, you know? What's going on? I can't move right now. It's like, oh, and go.
Don't worry, you can handle it.
Yeah, you can handle it. That's a reality. That's the reality of our social environment. So you have to pay attention to yourself and do the things you need to. You gotta love yourself. Okay, any questions? Loud and clear. Very simple, huh? No? Huh?